Thank you so much for joining today. We're going to start today's practice coming into a position where we can let our bellies have a little pressure against them. So if you're taking a chair position, I suggest grabbing a pillow, a throw pillow, or blanket, or something that you can set on your lap and let it come up against your belly as you sit back against the back of the chair. Now, if you're taking it from a ground position, you're gonna want to either come on to the belly directly, coming into a belly resting position, maybe making a pillow out of your hands if that feels good. You can turn to one side of the ear or the other, or maybe rest on your forehead. And if laying on your belly just does not feel optional today, you are always welcome to maybe come into a fetal position, curling your legs in towards your abdomen, and this will create that little bit of constriction we're looking for as we settle in here. Now, begin to close your eyes, or maybe simply soften your gaze here as we settle in. We'll start to equal our breath out, breathing in through the nose if it's available, and out through the mouth. And as you start to get into that equal breath, letting your inhale be about the same length as your exhale, you're always welcome to allow that breath to have a count if that feels like a good focus for your mind. Inhaling for 4 or 5 counts and exhaling for the same amount. You'd rather let it be a little more free flowing, that's always a great option as well. Now again, we are making contact with a couple of different surfaces here, maybe the pillow, our legs, maybe the floor. And as we notice these boundaries between our body, we're going to focus in on our breathing. So for these next couple of breaths, I want us to notice the way the body feels as you breathe in the front side of the body. So maybe you start to notice your rib cage as it lifts or lowers. Maybe you feel the push against your abdomen, against the prop touching your belly. See if you can really isolate your awareness just to this front side of your body for just a couple more of these equal breaths. I'll take that same attention to detail, that same awareness, as we move our awareness to the breath as it moves the back side of our body. Maybe you feel your rib cage shifting. Maybe there's some strain in your lower back. Maybe your back is up against the chair and you can feel that boundary as your breath happens. Your shoulders pressing against the chair. But beyond the boundaries, we want to start to notice the internal sensations in those same areas. Maybe any tension or stress. And see if we can let that equal breath start to wind things down. Loosen any stress or tension. Now we're going to feel the breath at the sides of our body. Maybe you feel the rib bones as they expand. Maybe you feel your abdomen or your abdominals stretching, subtle movements. Maybe you feel the space between your armpits and your body. And then we're going to take all of that, wrap it together as we notice all the body, front, back, sides, top and bottom, and how the breath moves you. Some say that ignorance is bliss. And sometimes this may even feel like the case or be the case. But ignorance is actually a denial of what is true. It is willfully looking away. So may we have the courage to face the truth, even if it means the truth is painful. Let us have the courage to be truthful in our being. May we have the courage to face the harsh truths, not only of the world around us, but even of our sometimes internal landscape. For the moment we give up ignorance, we open ourselves up to the beauty that also lives in that truth. The truth can scare us. It can even disappoint us. But it can also teach us and even heal us. So as we take these last few equal breaths together, maybe repeating a mantra after me, if it feels good for you. May I no longer hide from what I know is true. May I no longer turn away in fear. May I have the courage to face truths. Beautiful job. And take one last breath here. Maybe offer ourselves a little bit of gratitude that we took time out of our day to slow down, meet ourselves here in this sacred space as we move our bodies together. And then as you're ready, start to find a little movement, maybe wiggling fingers, toes, fluttering the eyes open. If you're in a fetal position on the floor, join me by coming onto your belly. And if you're on the belly on the floor, we're going to slide our hands under our shoulders to prep for a cobra pose. And if we're seated in our chair, we're staying right where we're at, actually. Keeping that pillow right up against our abdomen and our back up against the back of the chair. We're going to take a couple of cobras here to get things started, stretching through the back. So if you're in the chair or wherever you're at, press into your hands and then start to lift your heart, lift your chin, lift your gaze. Take it into a nice, tiny back bend. If you're in the chair, maybe rolling over the back seat of your chair. And if you're on the mat, we're coming into such a baby cobra that you could even lift your hands if you want. Great job. Exhale, come back to a straight spine. Now we're going to find a couple of rolling cobras. So for rolling cobras, you press into your hands, you inhale up, and you exhale at your own pace to lower back down or straighten the spine. And you can take these as fast or slow. You can hold them if it feels really good to hold them. Or you can find a little bit of a dynamic movement, moving with your breath. Great job. Last one. Come back to your straight spine on your exhale. Now go ahead and let your hands fall from where they are down by your hips. palms facing forward if you're in the chair, or palms facing the floor if you're on the ground. And we're gonna take a jet airplane or a airplane arms. So as we start to stretch those arms behind us, we roll our shoulder blades open, lifting our heart and chin just like before. And if you're on the mat, you're lifting your hands off the mat, maybe lifting your shoulders, lifting your forehead. And if you'd like to add your feet, you are always welcome to lift those as well. Beautiful strength through that back body. Exhale to release. Great job. From the floor, we press into our hands to come into a child's pose. Knees wide. Welcome to bring a prop under the hips. And then if you're on the mat, I'll give the chair version in just a moment, but if you're on the mat, go ahead and bring some props maybe under your hands. We want our hands to come together in almost a diamond shape, letting the elbows kind of fall out to the sides, making this a little bit different through our shoulders. Now, if we're in our chair, we're simply going to take our knees a little wider. We're going to scoot to the edge of the chair. Go ahead and take your pillow and put it to the side. And we're going to come into our child's pose by hinging forward. Now you can keep your hands on your knees, or maybe just like on the floor, you bring a prop under your hands. You allow your elbows to splay to the sides in that same diamond shape as you hinge forward. And if you're keeping your hands on your knees, you can do that by putting your elbows out to the side. Now, wherever we're at, we're going to start to come up onto our fingertips, cupping through our hands, tenting the fingers just a little bit, and noticing how that changes the stretch in our shoulders. Beautiful job. Let's roll up to a straight spine. Great job. All right, we're going to come into an M-sit. So if you're in your chair, you're going to bring your feet back in alignment with your knees and hips, and then you're going to grab somewhere behind you on the chair. It can be up high, it can be down low, or even lower. It's really up to you what feels good for you. If you're taking floor poses, you're coming onto your hips, bringing those feet in front of you, solidly on the floor. We'll take your hands back behind you, creating that M shape. Now those hands can be on the floor, facing you, facing your hips, or even facing out to the sides. It's up to you how you put those hands. All right, wherever we're at, we're pressing into our hands, holding on, gripping the floor, gripping the chair, really feeling our heart lifting, maybe our chin lifts, our shoulders roll back. If you're seated on the floor, maybe you scoot your hips a little further away from your hands. You can do that on the chair too if you have space, but just make sure you don't fall off. Now you're always welcome to stay right here, whether you're in the chair or on the floor. Or maybe you start to lift the hips off just a little bit, pressing them forward, going into those shoulder stretches a little bit deeper as we come into a reverse tabletop. And if that doesn't feel good, just keep those hips on the chair or floor, or maybe just lift them a little bit. Great job. If you lifted, go ahead and lower them back down. All right, we're going to take one-sided stretch now. So we'll leave our right hand down on the chair or the floor. And then again, if you want to lift your hips, you can lift your hips and maybe the opposite arm comes up overhead. And then exhale, bring the hips back down. Great job. Let's bring that left hand down. Inhale, maybe that right hand comes up and over. If your hips aren't lifting, you're finding that deep arch through the spine. If your hips are lifting, you have a little bit of a push forward as well. You're doing great. Last breath here. Exhale to release. Great job. Hips and arms come down as we set up for our hero's pose. So in the chair, we're doing a half heroes. We're going to come over to the right side, Tuck the right foot back, drop that right knee. Halfway through, we'll switch to the left side. So if I forget to cue it, just know that when we switch sides, go ahead and switch over to the left side. If we're on our mat, we're gonna come into both heroes. You're always welcome to tuck those toes, untuck those toes, or maybe add the prop under your hips. But wherever we're at, we're sitting up, we're lengthening through our spine. We're getting that nice quad stretch through our quads. And then let's drop our right hand to the chair, the floor, or a prop. As we start to take our left hand up and over, we'll take it into a side bend. As we take this stretch, we're pulling with that top hand up and over. Maybe, once again, noticing the muscles and tissues between the rib bones as we stretch here. Great job. With your next exhale, start to find some circles with that top arm. Maybe they're going fast or slow, be big or little, rotating through that rotating cuff. And then after a few times around, let's take it in the opposite direction. Great job. Inhale through center, and we'll switch it up. So if you're in the chair, this is where we switch to that left leg. Go ahead and come on over, drop the knee. Again, for more stability, just walk the knee a little more to the right. And then when you're ready, hand comes down by the hip. And then opposite hand comes up and over. After just a couple of breaths here, really pushing and feeling that, pulling the hand and feeling the rib cage expand. We'll start to shift our awareness to our shoulder as we make circles. And then reverse them. Great job. Exhale to release. All right, from here, let's go ahead and come on up to standing. Feel free to move any props you don't need out of your way. Or keep them nearby for a little added support. We'll come into our mountain pose. We'll stand up tall. We'll lengthen our spine, just like a mountain here. Inhale, circle arms, reach them up towards the sky. Feel that length and extension. Exhale, swan dive it down into your forward fold. Hands can rest on floor, legs or the prop of your choice as the top of your head reaches towards the floor. A gentle bend in your knees. Your hands can stay where they are, or they can grab opposite elbows and start to take a sway from side to side in ragdoll. Welcome to move through the neck, the jaw, or anywhere else that feels like a little release. Could feel that lovely. Go ahead and pause, finding stillness. And then allow your hands to release to their previous location, whatever that was, floor, feet, or legs, or prop. And then let's press into our hands to halfway lift. We engage our core, we lengthen the spine, gaze stays down, you're doing great. Exhale, forward fold. This time we're going to inhale, but we're going to come up with those airplane arms or those jet airplane arms. Hands are by the hips, palms face down. We're squeezing our shoulder blades together. Great job. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, take a slow roll. Coming all the way up to standing. Beautiful job. Let the arms circle overhead. And then let's drop the right hand to a prop or a hip and lean over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, cactus the arms, pulling the heart forward, squeeze our shoulder blades together. Great job. We're going to pause here and then twist at the hips to the right. And then exhale to twist to the left. come back through center and release into mountain. Beautiful sun salutation to get our flow moving. All right, let's go ahead and come from our mountain pose into a high crescent lunge, stepping that right foot back. You're always welcome to have a prop. Bend through both knees. It can be a deep bend or a shallow bend. Set up here, set your foundation. Make sure you're not wobbly. You're feeling steady. You're pulling those thigh muscles. You're engaging your core. And again, your hands can stay on a prop of your choice, or maybe you start to lift them in the air. Great job. With our next exhale, I want us to cactus the arms if they're not holding something. If one's holding on to something, just do it with one. And then as we cactus the arms, we're also going to dip a little deeper into our crescent lunge. And then with our inhale, we lift our arms and straighten both legs. Take this just a couple of times. And this is as fast or as slow, as deep or as shallow as you want to go. If you're feeling super froggy, you can even come down and tap that knee down. Doing great. One last time, inhale, bring it back through your highest crescent lunge option. And then with an exhale, straighten both legs. And then hinge over that front leg. Letting your hands rest on your prop, your legs, or the floor. Beautiful pyramid pose. Inhale to halfway lift on your pyramid, and then walk your opposite hand towards that leg. You know, you can touch the leg or have a prop around the leg somewhere, but we're going to take it into a twist. So we're going to rub, same hand as that front leg is going to walk out to the side. And it can stay down, or if you'd like, maybe lift and twist. So. Lots of options here. Great job. Exhale to untwist, coming back to your pyramid pose. Inhale, step that back foot in, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, jet plane arms. Exhale, release. Inhale, slow roll to standing. Lean to the right. Back through center, to the left. Back through center, cactus. Twist to the right. Exhale, twist to the left. Back through center, mountain pose. All right, we'll take that side to stepping second leg back, finding your crescent lunge. Build your foundation from the ground up. All right, once you're feeling it, we'll start to take those little pulses, dipping into the bend in our knee and straightening the legs. As we dip, we cactus the arms or arm, and as we straighten, we lift the arms or arms back up. Great job. Last one. Straighten legs. Exhale, find your pyramid fold over that front leg. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, walk opposite arm towards that leg. Take the same hand as that front leg, out to the side, or spiral it behind you. Great job. Exhale to release. Inhale, step it up, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, airplane arms. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, slow roll, tall mountain. Bring it down through a prayer into our mountain pose. Lovely flow there. Let's go ahead and bring our feet just a little bit wider than hip distance. It doesn't have to be to your biggest, widest point, but it can be as wide as feels good there. And as always, you're welcome to have a prop in front of you for just a little bit of support, whether it's a chair, blocks, or anything else. Even a wall could be great. All right, we're gonna start to bend into our knees a little or a lot. Take a moment, maybe take a horse stance, lifting feet, lifting heels, shimmying a little left to right. And then come back to your straight-legged, wide-legged stance. All right, from here, we're gonna start to do a one-legged squat. So we're gonna lean to one side. We're gonna bend into that knee. If you have a prop in front of you, feel free to hold on to that. You can keep your hands on your hips and bring it down to your knee. If you're going really deep into it, you can have a prop on the floor, and you can lift your toes with the opposite foot up. We're gonna move left to right at our own pace. So again, if you're only going shallow, it might look more like this. You're going deep. You might be walking your hands along the floor as you go from side to side. So feel free to take any movement here, left to right. Okay. Go ahead and balance out between the two sides. Come back through center. Beautiful job. Step your feet in, mountain pose. All righty, so before in our opening meditation, we practiced the equal breath. And we did that in preparation for our moving breathing exercise today. So this breathing exercise is one of those where we coordinate the breath with the movement distinctly. And so this is a Kira breath. We start in our tall mountain on an inhale. And I'll go through this a couple of times. And then after the second or third round, I'll go ahead and stop speaking and just feel it through your body. So we inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, deep cactus. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, we're going to fling our hands back into that airplane halfway lift with an exhale and a sigh. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, swing and fling. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, swing and fling. Take it at your own pace. And if you mess it up just a little, join back in wherever you're at. You got this. Make those exhales loud. Go as fast or as slow as your body is needing in this moment. You might build a little heat if you're going super fast. You might build a little heat even if you're going slow. Last cycle, finishing out. We'll end with our hands at a prayer at heart center. Choosing to keep the eyes opened or closed. Sense the sensations of the body in this current moment. Great job. Exhale to release. All right, I'm gonna do a balance challenge next. As always with our balance challenge, you can have something close by. Or if you want, for this one, a strap or, yeah, a strap would be really nice to have as well. All right, so we're gonna start in our mountain pose. We're gonna shift our weight over to our right foot. And we're gonna start to lift our left heel in front of us. Now you can keep those toes on the floor. You can start to lift the toes a little or lift the knee all the way to hip height. You want a little extra support, maybe you bring a prop under the foot. That's great. Or again, the strap, maybe you're using the strap. Now, from wherever you're at, we're gonna take a few ankle rolls. And then reverse them. All right, go ahead and pause here. And then as gracefully as we can, we're gonna bring that foot behind us towards our hip. Again, maybe you use your strap, maybe you hold on to your foot or your pant leg, or maybe you even bring a prop behind you for support. These are all great options. As we draw our heel as close to our hip as is available. Going just a little bit deeper into that quad stretch that we started with heroes and half heroes at the start of our class today. All right, we're gonna come out of this stretch the same way we went in. So find a spot on the floor that's not moving. Release your bind on your foot. Start to draw the knee back forward. It's okay to touch down, but try to see if you can avoid it. Send the foot out long in front of you. Point the toe away. Great job. Exhale, release to the floor. Take any movement you need to adjust, and then we'll come to side two. Shifting our weight. Starting to lift the heel, lift the toe, maybe lift the knee. Finding your standing half step. And then ankle rolls. And then reverse them. Great job. All right, pause there. Start to bring that heel towards your hip. Take the quad stretch as you drop the knee towards the floor. Great job. Exhale to release. Standing half staff. Maybe extend the foot long, point the toes away, engage your core. Exhale, release it. All right, great job. Great balancing. All right, so for our next variation, we're gonna come into a pigeon option. You're gonna take this from chair or standing. I would suggest bringing your surface that you're gonna use and make sure it's secure, either against a wall or just something. Maybe there's a couch or a chair nearby that's a little more sturdy than a folding chair. And then maybe you bring a pillow or a blanket, but you don't have to. You can use literally any of the rungs or steps of your chair. If you're gonna take this from a floor variation, come down into a tabletop on hands and knees. Now we'll start with our right side. We'll bring our right knee up towards our hands if we're on the mat, and then bring that right foot over towards the left hand, and then start to send the opposite leg behind you. Always welcome to bring a prop under your hip if you'd like. And if you're taking this from our chair variation, we're gonna actually step the right foot up. Maybe you step it on the lowest rung, the seat of the chair, or onto a prop. Now the goal is to get the foot over towards the left side of that chair and let your knee fall open to the right side, kind of like a seated figure four shape in that hip. And then you could have your hands raised on something, or it might feel nice to go ahead and lean towards that thing, whatever it is. I'm noticing that hip and glute stretch here. wherever you're choosing to take your pigeon from. And if you're on the ground, you can stay up high, just like in the chair, or you can come down into a sleeping pigeon, coming down onto elbows, or maybe a prop under your body. Beautiful job. Now pigeons are lovely because the longer we hold them, the more stretch they give to this area of our body. So we are going to hold it for just another breath before we switch to the other side. So maybe just allow yourself a moment of silence as you feel your breath. Maybe you find yourself dialing into one specific area that feels like it's calling your attention. And just like at the beginning of class where we zeroed an area out and focused our breath in that area, noticing the subtle shifts of our body as we breathe there, maybe we do the same here. Beautiful job. All right, if you came down into a sleeping pigeon, bring hands back under your shoulders, starting to create space for your body. And then we'll shift from one side to the other. On the floor, that would come going back into tabletop and then switching sides. And on the chair, that would be bringing the right foot down. And then when you're ready, bringing the left foot up. Letting it open. Again, you're welcome to keep that spine lengthened. Or if it feels good to come into a sleeping variation, feel free to do so as well. Coming back and noticing maybe the different sides and how they feel. Maybe this side has a little more space. Maybe you can add another pillow, or maybe you have to take a pillow away. You're doing great. Couple more breaths here. Beautiful. For next exhale, let's go ahead and release, coming out of our pigeon pose. And we'll find a seated position of our choice. So again, maybe coming into the chair, or maybe coming down into a crisscross applesauce, or any other seated position that feels good for you. Always welcome to have any props under your hips that you like. Now, whether you're seated in the chair or on the floor, let's all come into that crisscross applesauce and bring that right leg in front of our left leg, just so we can get a little bit of cross body movement, a little hip opening here. And then let's take the arms out wide to a T. Let the palms face up here for just a moment, opening the heart. And then let's take the right hand, flip the palm down as we bring it across our body, and then the left hand. You can grab your shoulders, coming into some eagle arm variations. You could bring the backs of hands together or the front. Or if you really like using that strap, it's always a great option here to just bring the strap in between your hands. Keep your spine straight. Try to work your hands away from your face a little or a lot. We did a lot of back bending at the beginning of class, so this is a great counter stretch for that. See if you can notice the space in between your shoulder blades and the subtle shift of stretching skin there with your breath. Great job. Unwind the arms. Let them come down by your side. Switch the crisscross of your legs so the left leg is on front or on top. Take the arms out to a T, face up. Maybe add a little bit of a back bend as you lift your heart and chin. Exhale, left hand under right, eagle arms of your choice. Exhale to unwind. All right, uncross those legs. We have one more core push before we're done and into our cool down practice. Seated in the chair, we're gonna bring our hips forward and our torso and shoulders back. As always, you're welcome to throw something behind you for a little added support. We're gonna bring our feet so they're just slightly in front of our knees and then lift the toes. And then hold on to your chair. If you're seated on the floor, go ahead and uncross those legs. Come down onto your elbows, letting your elbows support you as you open up through your heart space, and then bring those feet about hip distance apart. We're gonna take cross-body toe touches. So we're gonna take our right heel, tap it down, and then lift and point the toe towards the other side of the room. And our hips are gonna actually shift as we do this. Come back, tap the heel down. Other side, lifts and points. Twists, lifts and points. Take it at your own pace. Making the transitions short as you move through. Great job. All right. Last time on both sides. Balance out. Great job. Inhale. Let's bring both feet down to the ground. Keep our leaning stance. If you're on the mat, you can roll down all the way to your back now if you want. And then let's bring our knee in, right knee in towards our chest. Get a little compression. And then switch, bring your left knee in towards your chest. Okay. If you're on the mat, if you're on the floor, bring both knees in towards your torso. If you're in the chair, we're actually going to go the other way. We're going to bring our torso down towards our knees. We're going to hold here for just a moment and maybe start to rock a little side to side, giving your glutes or maybe your back, depending on which position you're in, just a little bit of a rock, a little massage. Chin can be tucked towards the torso or the knees. Lengthening through the back of the neck. Great job. Start to find a little bit of stillness. And then let's unfurl the spine. Great job. All right. From here, if you're seated in the chair, go back into that reclined position as a good transition. And then we're gonna all take our knees over to the right side. We're gonna take a twist here, a reclined twist. So if you want to keep your knees separate, you can keep them separate. If you want to stack them, you can stack them. If you want to cross them and take a bind, you're welcome to do that. If you're on the mat and you want to add a pillow or a prop under your legs or in between them, you're welcome to do that. Wherever we're at, though, our shoulders are pressing against the prop of our choice, the floor, the chair, or the pillow. And your gaze can go in any direction that feels good. As long as your neck feels supported. And those hands, they could be on your body, they could be circled around, supporting your head. You could take a bind if you like to hook one of the knees, you're welcome to do that. Make it your twist, however you want to. And allow yourself to sink into your equal breath once more. Nice and easy. With a count or without. Start to slow your equal breath down. You're taking it at a 4 count, maybe take it at a 5 or a 6 count. Seeing if you can just extend that equal breath by a little bit. Great job. Let's bring our knees through center. And then over to the other side. Again, same options as before. You may want to take the same option, or you may choose that this side wants something a little different. And being mindful and making those adjustments. Beautiful job. Just a couple more equal breaths here. Our next exhale, we unwind the spine, uncrossing any binds. We're gonna come into that ball shape one last time. So knees to torso or torso to knees. But this time, to end our practice, we're gonna start to create as much tension in our body. We're gonna squeeze our hands, we're gonna squeeze our arm muscles, we're gonna squeeze our feet, we're gonna squeeze the muscles of our legs and our glutes and our thighs, maybe even pulling our abdomen in back towards. So you're creating so much tension in your body. Maybe even your jaw starts to clench and your eyes squeeze and your ears make a movement. You're squeezing everything so tightly that you feel like you cannot create any more tension in your body. Just simply notice that feeling. And then with your biggest sigh of the day so far, release all that tension as you release into your final resting pose. As always, you're welcome to stay in your chair. You're welcome to add props. You can add pillows, blankets, blocks, or even socks. You're always welcome to move to a chair or couch nearby or make any adjustments, any movements so that you can come to a place where you can relax on command. And constructive rest and corpse pose are always a great option as well. As you find your comfortable position, maybe you close your eyes or you soften your gaze. Settling in here, we'll start to take deep, filling breaths, allowing your lungs to expand completely. Once you reach the top of that breath, hold it for a moment. And then as you exhale slowly, intentionally transition inward and begin to release all that tension we built in our bodies. Continue to breathe deeply and evenly, allowing your body to relax with each breath. As we come to the end of our practice together, let's take this moment to reflect on the concepts of ignorance. Is ignorance really bliss? This age-old question invites us to consider whether remaining unaware of certain truths can actually lead us to happiness. While it might seem that avoiding harsh realities can protect us from pain, this avoidance often leads us to superficial sense of peace. True bliss, however, comes from understanding and even embracing the full spectrum of our experiences. And the dangers of ignorance are many. When we choose to remain ignorant, we close ourselves off from growth and understanding. Ignorance can lead to misunderstandings, prejudice, and even harm. It prevents us from seeing the world as it truly is and from making informed decisions that benefit ourselves and others. Ignorance can be a root cause of our suffering. It's a concept that's deeply explored in many philosophical and spiritual traditions. When we are ignorant, we are often trapped in cycles of desire and aversion, unable to see the true nature of our experiences. This lack of understanding can lead to unnecessary suffering, both for ourselves and for those around us. And there are ethics even to ignorance. They challenge us to consider our responsibility to seek knowledge and truth. It is not enough to simply avoid harm. We can actively pursue understanding and awareness, not only of ourselves, but of the world around us. And by doing so, we contribute to a more just and compassionate world. Can you be a seeker? Is this a goal you can make in your life? Can you embrace the journey of learning and discovery every day? When we have the courage to face the harsh truths of the world and ourselves, we open ourselves to the beauty that also lives in those truths. It is through this process of seeking and understanding that we can find true peace and even fulfillment. We'll take a moment now in silence to reflect on our own experience with ignorance and knowledge. Maybe consider some times when you have chosen to remain unaware. And remember the impact it had on your life. Or think about the moments when you have sought out truth and noticed the growth that came from it. I'll give you a few moments to ponder in silence. And I'll bring you back in just a few moments. You notice your mind is starting to wander. Use your breath as your focus. Bring it back to reflecting. Beautiful job reflecting on ignorance and knowledge in your own mind. We'll continue to breathe deeply as we begin to imagine ourselves, imagine yourself as a seeker of truth. Can you visualize yourself moving through this world with curiosity and courage, open to learning and understanding, feeling the strength and peace that can come from this openness? Beautiful job. We'll try to carry the sense of curiosity and courage with us as we move throughout our day this week, day to day or this week, asking yourself in different moments, can I be a seeker here in this moment? We'll then take the deepest breath of our day so far. And slow exhale out. We'll transition back into the present moment, noticing the space, the temperature, the boundaries, clothing and furniture around you. And then as you're ready, maybe wiggle the fingers and toes, flutter the eyes open. In your own time and in your own way, come up to an upright position facing you. Until next time, thank you so much for joining me.